So getting triggered by the little things and letting your emotions run the show without even realizing that's actually the real problem. Not your job, not your relationship, and not the person who ghosted you, but the fact that you have not mastered discipline in these areas, keeping you in the same emotional loops and calling it bad luck. Most people don't know how to lead themselves through the moment they're in, and that's where everything falls apart. Because when you don't have emotional control, when you don't have energetic protection, and when you don't have physical command over yourself, you will always feel like life is happening to you, not through you. And you'll continue to blame the trigger instead of learning how to not let the trigger you in the first place. The beauty about mastering these 3 tiers of discipline that I'm about to break down for you in this video is that you will be untouchable in the best way possible. First, I want to talk about today's sponsor, FaceApp. FaceApp has been one of my favorite apps in upgrading my pictures, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I use it. I love FaceApp because it doesn't over edit the photos. You have so much control over how much your photo is getting edited. For me personally, I do not like to change how I look. I just like to add subtle enhancements back into the photo that the camera always takes away. That's like the hair color, the makeup. A lot of times on camera, you have to put on a lot more makeup for it to look how you want it to look, how it would in person. Does that make sense? And actually the worst part is when my makeup looks different on a photo than it does in real life. So this is the photo I'm going to be editing. I'm going to show you exactly how I personally do it. I always use level 1 or level 2. I do not go beyond that. So first I go to impressions and I always use Hollywood, and I use that at a level 1 usually, and that just adds a little oomph to the lashes. You see that? Because in a photo, I don't usually wear a lot of mascara, and sometimes I'm not wearing mascara at all because my eyelashes are long and they're dark, but the camera doesn't pick that up. So I always add my lashes back in because we can't be out here looking bald in the eyes. Then I will go to skin and just do a little bit of a smooth, okay? We don't need anything crazy. Usually I'll just do smooth number 1, and that usually does it for me. I don't really need to do anything else. And then I'm gonna go to my hair color because I like my hair to look a little bit darker. Again, if I'm taking a picture in natural light, it's gonna have a little bit of a red hue, so I'm just gonna add the dark back in, usually at a level 2 or a level 1, depending. I'll probably do a level 1 for this because it looks a little bit more natural. So I'll do a level 1, the dark is back in, and then I'll just go to retouch if I really want to add something. Like, see in the forehead here, it's looking a little bit bumpy, so I'm just going to take away those few, and I'm just going to click apply. And that is literally how I edit my photos, and that's all I do. And you can see that's the before and that's the after. Nothing has really changed except for giving me how I look in person back. This is a natural representation of what I was looking like in person, which is what I always like to do and edit back into my photos. And if you want to try FaceApp for yourself, it's free to download. Just click the link in my description box, or you can scan the QR code right here. If you're anything like me, you're gonna use FaceApp more than you expect, especially the pro version, which is what I recommend. It's only $5 a month with the annual plan, and it comes with a 7-day free trial, so honestly to me that's so worth it. Thank you FaceApp for sponsoring today's video. The first tier is emotional discipline, arguably the most important one. Most people are not where they want to be in life because they lack emotional discipline. Very few have it and very few talk about it. Learning to not react to every tone shift, react to every lack of notification, react to anything and everything external will serve you so much. And I'm speaking from experience. Trust me, I have always been the type to like notice everybody's little reaction, or okay, why are they acting a little weird with me? And it's just exhausting, but that's just your nervous system looking for safety in somebody else and in something else. Learning to give yourself that own safety is going to be monumental. Mastering emotional discipline is the first type of discipline you must bring into your life and master. If your emotions are in control, it means you're not in control. If your feelings dictate how you show up, what you say, how you feel, or even go as far as to convince you to think something different than what is actually going on. Like, if your feelings convince you to believe certain things are true when they might not be, that is a very dangerous spot to be in. You're not grounded, you're emotionally hijacked. Another thing to remember, emotional discipline is not about becoming cold or distant or vengeful. It's about letting yourself feel everything that you feel without letting it own you. Okay, that's the leadership part of emotional regulation and emotional control. You are in leadership, you're not being led by your emotions. There's a very big distinction. One is cold detachment and the other is just pure neutral detachment with softness coming from a place of love. You have to realize that reaction is automatic. It's what you're wired to do. Regulation is chosen. That is what you have to build up toward. That is where the discipline comes in. Wanting to do this when you feel feel this, but knowing that is not going to serve you and choosing this instead. That is being the leader of your internal world. And the beautiful thing about emotional mastery is that it compounds. So the more often you regulate instead of react, the more often you start to feel safe within your body. And when you feel safe inside your body, your mind stops trying to fight for control, your body stops self-sabotaging you, and you stop chasing control on the outside because you now have mastered it within. That is emotional discipline. It's not about becoming less human, it's about mastering the human experience. It's about becoming more in command of the human experience. Now let's talk about energetic discipline, aka tier number 2, which is basically the reason why you feel exhausted even when you feel like you haven't even done anything. Energetic discipline is one of the keys to life. This is you not people pleasing anymore. This is you not doom scrolling. These are what I like to call energy leaks. I talk about this in my course, The Feminine Protocol, and this is where you are patching up the holes, aka the leaks, where your energy is slipping through you. These are things like junk food, your phone, bad friends, negative relationships, toxic relationships, negative thoughts, like anything that drains your energy is an energy leak. Energetic discipline is realizing and understanding that your energy is not an infinite resource and it's not a free resource. Constantly giving from an empty cup, constantly giving to people where there's no reciprocation, that is what drains you, that is what depletes you. So in your own life, you have no energy to give to yourself because you're giving it to people who are not giving anything back to you. Unfortunately, yes, this world is all about cause and effect. It all is about law of giving and receiving. That is the way energy likes to keep its flow. I give, you take, you give, I take. That is when relationships have a natural polarity and a natural equal balance to them. That is when relationships are most harmonious. You cannot be in a relationship with a person, with a friend, you're constantly giving and they're constantly taking, or you're constantly taking and they're constantly giving. Someone will always feel out of balance. Somebody's energy will always be leaking. You can be the most productive, organized, color-coded girl going, but if you don't know how to manage your own energy, or more than that, protect it, you have nothing. You are going to burn out from giving too much and giving too much to the wrong things. Energetic discipline is being able to say no without giving a TED talk on why you have to say no, why you can't do that thing, why you don't even want to do that thing. If somebody cares that you don't have the energy to do something, to participate in something, or you simply just don't want to, you don't need to justify yourself. And if somebody has an issue with that, that is a them problem. I always talk about them problems and your problems. Being drained is not noble. Another thing I always tell people in my own personal life who struggle with this is that you don't have to be everything for everyone. When you're trying to be liked by everyone, when you're trying to please everybody, you have nothing to give to yourself. And that's when you start becoming very resentful. You start feeling like this drained, holy piece of Swiss cheese. You know, Swiss cheese, it's very holy. That's what you're gonna feel like. You feel like you're just leaking from your entire being because your energy is not coming to you. It's going to everybody else in hopes that you get a specific outcome from them. Either you get liked by them, or you get praise, or you feel like you're showing up as this really good friend. But like I just said, being drained is not noble. Being nice is not about being available 24/7. Actually, being nice is not even a real thing. Most people who are nice are not actually nice. There's kind, which is genuine, and it's warm, and it's compassionate, and it's inviting. And then there's being nice, and that's just people-pleasing energy. Applying energetic discipline in your life means you're no longer saying yes when you mean no. You're no longer giving your energy to sources that are outside of you before giving to yourself. That means waking up and going on your phone. That means looking for external validation. That means becoming unavailable to anything that is not bringing you peace and just bringing you chaos. You have to have so much discipline with your time, your energy, your resources, and you need to treat it like literal VIP club. And the only access that you get to me is when I've given to myself. That might sound selfish and it might sound like this really bad thing, but trust me when I say you cannot be a good person to other people when you're not even being a good person to yourself. If you can't even give to yourself, how do you expect to give to somebody else? I always think of it like, you know, when you used to go to clubs, like when I used to go to clubs, there was an entry fee and it was like $5 depending on the caliber of the club. Sometimes it was like $2 to get in to this place. What is your entry fee? What is the fee to access your energy? And it shouldn't be thought of as this conceited thing. What I'm more so trying to drive home with this point is You have to make sure your energy is so sacred and it is coming to yourself first before you even think about giving it to other people. Patch up the energy leaks. Start treating your energy like it's a very bougie and exclusive club to get into where the entry fee is like $50 rather than $2. When everybody can access you, it means you are not even able to access yourself. You're outsourcing your validation, your beliefs, your value, your worthiness. And that's where we have been sold the biggest lie, when you think that being everything to everyone is valuable. That is where you get your adoration from. But in reality, it just makes you depleted. And the best thing about this is when you start treating your energy like a VIP access, exclusive members only club, you start becoming magnetic, because now you're not leaking. Now your energy is contained. It's in you, it's flowing through you, and now you're selective on who you give it to, where you give it, for how long you give it, and that is what draws people in. There's also the law of exclusivity. The more exclusive you remain, the more sought after you become. When you're just flailing around giving yourself to this person, that place, that thing, it feels draining for you, so it feels draining for them. It's not coming from a place that is genuine overflow, and so in relation, other people are going to feel a different energy behind it. They're going to feel like it's a little bit of a desperation act. And energetic discipline is not just about who you give access to you, it's about how you're showing up for yourself, how you regulate your exposure to noise, to drama, to urgency, and other people's expectations, and then reflect that energy right back onto your own vision. That's what keeps your vibe clean. That's what keeps you soft and powerful. Not because you're doing the most or you're putting in more effort, but because you're no longer leaking energy into things, people, and places that don't deserve it, or leaking your energy into people, places, and things for a longer period of time than necessary. Now let's wrap this up with the third tier of discipline, and that is physical discipline. If your body is out of whack, every other area of your life will be 10 times harder. Your body is your vessel. It is your anchor for your mind, for your emotions, for your energy. You need your energetic discipline and your emotional discipline to be anchored in a vessel that practices physical discipline. If you're constantly exhausted, dehydrated, bloated, stressed, your cortisol levels are spiking, you're wired, you're overstimulated, you've underslept, of course you're going to feel chaotic. Of course, every little thing is going to become a trigger. Of course, your emotions are going to be a lot harder to regulate and control. Of course, it's going to be harder to be energetically clean and at baseline. Physical discipline in my world and in this tier goes a lot deeper than just eating the salad, eating healthy, showing up for yourself at the gym. It means that you are teaching your body that you are in control. Your body is not running you, you are running it. That is when you're commanding. We are getting up at 7, we are doing this, we are doing that, regardless of how you may feel in the moment. If we constantly gave into the emotions that our body felt like, I feel tired, I feel lazy, I feel unmotivated, we would be nowhere and we would get nowhere. We need that discipline to come in and get us back into focus and say, hey, body, I hear you, but I'm not listening to you because I've got to get through this right now. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to grind and hustle, because you know all about me on this channel. I am not about hustling, grinding, or doing the most. I'm all about feminine energy. And so this is that fine balance between your masculine and your feminine. The physical discipline is your masculine energy, making sure that you're still in the container for your visions, for your goals, and for what you want to call into your life. The feminine energy is coming in to make it not hustly or not grindy, right? It's coming in and keeping us grounded in rest and in just like softness. But the physical discipline is, okay, we have to get this done. And if we don't continue to get this done, we're just gonna not move the needle in anything that we want to do. Physical discipline is more about self-trust than punishing yourself and like pushing yourself too hard. It's about, you said you were gonna do this, let's try and accomplish this. And even if we're tired, let's try and get half of it done. Or let's put in a little bit of effort to do it. Even if it's not perfect, at least we're moving the needle and we're being consistent. The craziest part, and one thing I've noticed heavily in my life, is that physical discipline helps you build that trust. And once you start following through, your body just automatically enters a new momentum. Like it just knows that you're going to follow through. It believes you. So it just automatically is alert for the things that you want to do. You say you want to get up at 7, it is automatically going to get up at 7 because it believes you're going to follow through. It knows it has no wiggle room with you. Physical discipline is the practice of mastering your body through consistent actions, intentional habits, both of which strengthen your willpower and your self-control. And it is so important that we have self-control. It's not just all about fitness and working out. It's about training your body to obey your higher self rather than giving into every single ego impulse you feel. So this is basically just delayed gratification over instant gratification. That's what creates this beautiful alignment between your mind, your body, and your spirit, so that your actions now reflect discipline rather than just mood or temptation. Now, this is not punishment because I do not believe in that in my world. If I want to eat something, I'll eat something. But if I want to eat that thing every single day for 2 weeks straight, that is not going to work in my world. That is when we need embodied control. That is regulating your urges, your food urges, sleep, rest, physical habits in service of your higher goals. And the best part about discipline and the way I've reframed it in my world is not an all or nothing approach. I don't hustle. I don't wake up at 5 a.m. I don't do the cold plunges. I don't do any of that, which I used to do that just completely dysregulated me. I just show up every single day, bit by bit, even when I don't feel like it, because that is building momentum, that is building self-trust, and that consistency of just showing up every day, regardless of if it's 10% today, 30% today, 100%, I am just showing up, and that is training my body to trust myself. I am now building willpower. I'm building mental discipline. I'm building resilience. And that's the best part, is you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent and show up for yourself every day in a small way, in a big way, whatever you feel like that day, but you're just showing up. So remember, if you keep getting triggered, it's not about them, it's about you. Master emotional regulation, master emotional discipline, master energetic discipline, and master physical discipline. And if you want to bring this all together, watch this video next.